What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
So glad to have you with us on the Vol Radio Network. Lots to talk about on this edition of Big Orange Rewind, and many of your questions. Love to hear from you at 865-657-1278. 865-657-1278. We are delayed on this Sunday night because the Lady Vols played a late afternoon game on the road against Auburn and won 73-56. Lady Vols 2-0 in Southeastern Conference play. Thursday night at Mississippi State, trying to go 3-0. Mississippi State lost today to Oklahoma, number 8 Oklahoma, 95-47, and yet Mississippi State is 14-2 on the season. So did they just have a bad day? Is Oklahoma that good? Is it a combination of both things? We don't know. What matters is the Lady Vols getting to 3-0 in Starkville on Thursday night, 7:30 tip-off time Eastern, 6:30 Central Time from the Hump in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, a good start for conference play and what they needed. It was interesting, Kim Caldwell saying going into the conference opener against Florida, she didn't think her team was ready for conference players. She wasn't sure they were ready. They got the big lead at home against Florida and then struggled to put them away, and then finally did put them away in the fourth quarter and kind of wore them down, and then obviously played better today on the road against an Auburn team. They had a good record but had not played a whole lot of people. I think that's what you're trying to figure out right now. You see a lot of inflated records. Who did they play? What does it look like compared to where they might be? I mean, it's, I think Kentucky's a good team. Oklahoma, LSU. There's some good teams in this
Carolina.
league. South Carolina's pretty good.
LSU.
Vanderbilt's a good team.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
So,
yep.
But, I mean, listen, any win you get on the road in this league is an important win. So that's a good win.
Well, and to build some momentum.
Yes.
I mean, after the performance against Louisville and Brooklyn, which was lacking, let's just go with that word.
Okay.
Lacking. I think Kim Caldwell had other words. Not sure we could use all of them on the Vol Radio Network. But they've come back and, strung together 3 wins, 2 of them in conference, get a chance to go get another road win. And again, nobody apologizes.
No.
I mean, hey, if Tennessee had gotten out of Fayetteville on Saturday with a win, they certainly wouldn't have apologized for anything. Although what we do know is Darius Acuff and Arkansas, a very, very good basketball team. Vols lose by 11. The missed free throws, the missed layups, the missed opportunities at moments where you had a chance to expand a second-half lead, and then you just go ice cold. And then you get it down to 3 with 3:20 remaining in the ballgame, and you say, okay, let's go. Let's see what happens. And then a couple of just almost miracle three-pointers from Arkansas, and they make their free throws down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee put them on the free throw line way too often before the fouling at the end to try to extend the game. There was way too many straight line drive fouls that Tennessee had that sent Arkansas to the free throw line. I mean, what did they go 4 minutes without a field goal, but they scored every possession because they were at the free throw line, something like that. I don't know the exact number. But not healthy, not what you're looking for. I think Tennessee has to try to figure out how to avoid and find an answer when a scoring slump happens. They can't have these 5-6 minute droughts. They've got to find an answer. Somebody's got to be able to go get a bucket. Somebody's got to get to the free throw line and make the free throw. They could have got out of that drought if they'd have made some free throws. They're just going to have to find a way to put the ball in the basket or, either at the charity stripe or down low when they got some chippies.
And Rick Barnes said it well, too. During that stretch, Tennessee put up 2 shots that it looked like one in particular could have been goaltending calls. And you wonder, would that have changed anything? Could you have stopped the streak? Because one basket in the middle of a streak can make all the difference in the world. And, that's what happens on the road in the SEC.
Well, and what's happened to Tennessee when you look at some of their losses, I mean, it was an 11-0 run by Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 14-4 run by Illinois in that loss in the second half, I think with 10, 11 minutes to play. With 10 and a half, 11 minutes to play.
Very similar games.
Against Kansas, it was a 17-5 run.
Yeah.
Now, the Kansas game you were in more control of.
Right.
But that Illinois-Arkansas game,
Very
you're right
similar.
there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have this this 4.5 minutes where you don't do anything and you look up and now you're chasing a double-digit deficit with 5 or 6 minutes to play, which is really hard to overcome down the stretch. And that's the moment in the game Tennessee's got to find a way to avoid because it's really cost them 3 basketball games.
Well, Arkansas is really good.
It's a good team.
That's a really good basketball team. Cal returned 59% of his scoring from a year ago. I don't know that any team in the conference can say that. And
No, not in the day and the age of the transfer
right,
portal.
and then they add 2 of the top 15 freshmen in the country, both of whom live up to the promise of what they are.
Well, and here's the thing about him. It's kind of like a quarterback. Some coaches have to have a quarterback to really be successful, a really good quarterback. When John Calipari has been at his best as a basketball coach, he's had an elite point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's had some weaknesses in other places, but he has had a dude at the point guard spot. And that guy's a dude.
He's got one.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Good
Player. Really good player.
That was the third game I'd seen him play, and he had been consistently at that high level. For Tennessee, the difference in the game might have been free throw shooting. But what was really interesting, Arkansas expanded their lead while Acuff was on the bench. Tennessee couldn't get anything going while Jacoby Gillespie was on the bench.
And I think that's a real concern.
I think it's a real
Barnes.
concern right now is can you even take him off the floor?
Right.
And you need to be able to.
Well, and because here's the thing. One, listen, point guards, there's a lot of point guards who log a lot of minutes. But if you're a scoring point guard and you're going to expend the energy that Jacoby Gillespie expends to score, because he's not just a straight facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
There's been years where there's been point guards who's been noted they played 40 minutes, 39 minutes, but they weren't scoring point guards. They were
Not generally.
They were facilitators in a slower tempo game. If he's going to go up and down the floor and try to score as much as you need him to, man, he's got to have some help because it's going to be hard for him to go an entire season at 38 minutes playing with the approach he's got to play with for this team.
What was really fascinating is with just under 10 minutes to play in the game, Calipari took a timeout because his team was out of gas. Mm-hmm. They had foul problems at a couple of positions. They only play 8 guys. And at that moment, you thought Tennessee's depth might be able to take over down the stretch. And it was a great timeout by Cal. Great job by him. And Tennessee just was not – they were in the middle of the stretch where they didn't score. So at the moment where you potentially have an advantage physically because you've got more people and the other team is clearly winded, you can't make a shot.
Yeah. And then Arkansas decided to put their head down and drive to the rim.
Wow.
And take a foul. And we'll just go to the free throw line. And that's how they extended
Well,
their lead.
post defense, Rick Barnes said it on the postgame. Post defense was a huge problem for Tennessee. They just didn't have enough of it. Ewan gave them fits. They understood that Malik Ewan is there to score. Arkansas has 2 players that are much more interested in shooting than passing. Mm-hmm. The Thomas kid, the freshman, he's a gunner. He comes off the bus shooting the basketball. And then Ewan, the transfer from Florida State, he's going to shoot. And so, Thomas made his shots. Mm-hmm. And then Ewan got fouled and went to the line and was perfect.
Yes. And they went to the line a lot.
A lot.
In the second half in particular. And then, I think that's the interesting thing because for Rick Barnes, there's two things to look at. One, your offensive scoring drought is notable, okay, and that's the thing. You also gave up 49 points in the second half, and I mean, you're going to lose a lot of conference games if you give up 50 points in the second half of a basketball game because in this league you're not going to be up most nights 20 at the half.
Well, that was only the second time Tennessee had given up over 80 in a game this year. And the interesting thing is it's 37-36 at the half. It's playing towards your sort of game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're down one at halftime, but you're thinking, okay, you know, we've got this sort of the way we want it. A 60s to 70s game is better than an up and down game against them. They're not scoring in transition. Brett, Arkansas was the number 2 team in the country in transition points, 22 fast break points per game. And Tennessee had totally taken them out of that. The other factor, too, 10 blocked shots by Arkansas. Think about that. Tennessee, I don't know where they finished exactly. I don't have the book right in front of me. But Tennessee was very close to 50% the entire game. And of their misses, 10 of them were blocked shots.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Tennessee finished 49%, 39 of 59 from the floor, or 29 of 59 from the floor.
So they missed 30 shots, and 10 of them were blocked.
Right.
So that tells you they actually only missed 20 shots. I mean, just to talk about it in those terms.
Yeah. Well, and they've got to figure out a way. And, I mean, they're going to have to be more creative in the post with Brown and Jalen Carey. They've got to understand, you know, you're going to have to head fake more. You're going to have to do some things to get to the free throw line because, you know, with where you are right now in terms of, I mean, those two guys don't play way above the rim all the time.
At all.
And so they're going to get shots blocked if they're not creative. They're going to have to use head fakes. They're going to have to do some things, you know, kind of jump into some guys with the shoulder, create some space to be better finishers. Now, Brown, you understand because he's a young player and, you know, he spent his high school career just, you know, running over people and shooting layups. But Jalen Carey's been in this league enough to know that his shot's going to get blocked if he's not more creative. He's got to do a better job of whatever, head faking or whatever he needs to do to not allow 4 or 5 of his shots to get blocked.
All right, let's talk some football very quickly before we break. In the midst of the transfer portal, lots going on right now as this is technically day 4 of the transfer portal. Day 3, because it started Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're into the portal now. Visits have started, and guys are starting to sign at different places. In essence, they go somewhere and they don't want to let you leave, right?
That's correct. You do not want to, as a coach, as a collective, as the GM, whoever's running all of your rev share, third party, and all those people who are putting the financial package together for you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get it to where they don't leave your place without signing, and when they leave your place with a signature, they're not going to their next destination. They're going back to get their stuff and come back to your campus in a couple of weeks to start school. You're trying everybody. If he's a priority take for you, if you're bringing him in as a guy who's at the top of your pecking board at that position, you know he's a definite take. You're not waiting on anybody else. This is a guy. You don't want that guy to take another visit.
Do you have an idea from what your conversations are with various people that say, I'm the number one safety of a school, and I'm going to go visit that school? Has my agent already got a pretty good parameter of what the deal's going to have to be for me to go there before I ever take the visit?
If everybody on both sides are doing their due diligence, yes.
So the school knows that it's going to take $500,000, and that's what my representation has said. And we all understand that. So if I've had a great visit with the coach, if I like the campus, if I like the safeties coach, I like the defensive coordinator, if they tell me I can start, I'm going to have a nice dorm, I get the number I want, whatever it is about the school, we're not going to sit and have a big discussion about money while I'm there, right?
Unless my agent has called me and said, hey, School Z just called and they're $250,000 more than what you got.
So they want to go to $750,000, but he's having that conversation. And so he's going to tell me whether I should sign or whether I should leave and go visit school number 2.
If your decision is solely based on money, and if your decision is solely based on the direction of your agent, you can also tell your agent, hey, that's great. School Z is going to offer me more money, but I like it here. I'm signing
Right.
here. You're in charge. And I think for young people who are doing this for the first time and families who are doing this for the first time, that's a challenge.
And it's a challenge because in some cases, your family is your representation, or Uncle Bob, or, somebody that you knew from the neighborhood or whatever, from, it was a friend of a friend down the street who says, hey, I can help you out with this. Instead of, in many cases, professional representation. And in fairness, we are seeing more professional representation come into the transfer portal. I recognize some of the names and some of the outfits now. So do we hope that's getting better?
Yeah, I think it's getting better, and I do think there's a more professional approach or more experienced approach that you're seeing more and more, particularly with, I guess, quote, higher end players,
top
if
end.
you will, top end. But here's the thing: the agent doesn't have any allegiance to the school that you're visiting. His job is to get you the most amount of money.
Right.
And so he is leveraging one against the other constantly. He's leveraging everybody.
Sure.
And at some point, what the young people who are doing this for the first time have to understand is it's your choice.
Right.
Like at some point, there's enough money for you, and go to the place you want to go, and don't just chase who's offering you the most money.
Right.
But it's the agent's job to get you the most money. So he's doing his job.
Right.
But I think we're seeing a lot of people try to figure out a lot of players trying to figure out exactly what that means. Like, what's the most important part of this? When is, okay, I've got to have at least this amount, and when I get to there, I'm going to go pick the place that I feel most comfortable with. Or is it, I'm not going anywhere that's not going to pay me this? Those young people have to figure that part of it out, because the agent's just doing his job, trying to get the most money. But in the middle of finalizing a deal, he could call and say, don't sign, I've got something else for you here. We need to talk about that. And that happens frequently on visits this time of year.
That's the Rackley Roofing recap, a breakdown of Tennessee athletics from Tennessee football in the portal, Lady Ball basketball and their win over Auburn, Tennessee men and the loss at Arkansas. It's presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Your questions via text for Brent Hubbs at 865-657-1278, 865-657-1278. We're glad to have you with us on Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical Center. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical Center, official healthcare provider of the Vols, and all of Vol Nation.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Hey, Vol Nation, it's Coach Barnes, here to remind you why Pilot is the official travel partner of Tennessee Athletics. Every season is a journey, building on what's in the rear view while keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The folks at Pilot know all about that. They're out here to help you make the most of every mile. Just like things were always better in that Tennessee orange, every journey's better with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
The Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun's.
Text questions at 865-657-1278. Brent Hubbs, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Nicole in Knoxville.
Hello, Nicole.
And hello, Nicole. General question about the business side of firing and hiring coaches. Is there somebody on staff that helps with those decisions in terms of the financial aspect of it? Or does Coach, and I'm assuming this is Coach Heupel, or does Coach have free reign to retain, dismiss, hire as he sees fit, and the money kind of works itself out?
Well, they all have contracts. And so, you know, if someone's on an expiring deal, you don't owe them any money. If someone has a year left on their contract, or in the case of Tim Banks, 2 years left on his contract, then you owe them money for firing them. Now, there's mitigation in that, meaning if they get a job somewhere else, there's an offset to that. As Josh Heupel certainly is in conversation with Danny White, the athletics director, about the direction he's going to go with his staff. But Danny White's not telling him who he has to hire or fire or anything like that. But there's conversation going on about what direction things are going, and this is where you want to go, and here's the budget you're going to have to work with, and those types of things. So, I mean, it's not a, you know, it doesn't have a blank payroll check for anybody out there, but the money, to answer her question in the most general sense, the money works itself out.
And the bottom line is, at a program like Tennessee, if the head football coach doesn't think a staff member is working out, he's probably going to have to tell the AD. Mm-hmm. But Tennessee's a place where they're not going to sit around and keep somebody on staff who they feel like is not working out just because of the money.
You can't anymore.
Yeah.
At a Power 4 school that's got a $280 million budget or whatever we're up to now. Maybe it's over 300. I don't remember the last numbers right in front of me. But, yeah, I mean, there's too much on the line. What do you need to do to win?
Now.
Not 2 years down the road, you know, that type of thing. I mean, think about what's going on, not at Tennessee, but at other places, where they're paying $40 million buyouts to get rid of a coach as a head coach, an administrator is, because they've got to go now, because they've got to win now. So in the sport of football, yeah, you're not retaining anybody to try to save a dollar at that point.
How much of an impact, doesn't say who this is from, how much of an impact will Coach Rodney Garner returning have for the future? Again, we don't have a name on this. It was submitted a while ago, but how big a factor?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, you know, he's got nobody in this building has more SEC experience than he does in terms of understanding this conference, what it takes in this conference, what good looks like in this conference. He's been here when Tennessee's been really good. He's, you know, helped Tennessee get back to that type of point where they're in the hunt and they're a playoff team a year ago. So he knows what it has to happen. You know, he's important. I think you talk to any player on defense, they'll tell you he's important. His players in particular would tell you how important he is. And I think for Jim Knowles, Tennessee's new defensive coordinator, the more SEC knowledge that you have, I think, and he knows this league. He was at Ole Miss. He was with David Cutcliffe at Duke. He's smart enough to know all about the SEC, and he coached at Ohio State. So it's not like he's coming from a D3 school where he's trying to figure it out. But I think, again, understanding the landscape of some stuff in this league probably is not a bad thing. And I think Rodney Garner is certainly an asset, and that's why you see Rodney Garner get a new 2-year deal that's going to pay him $1 million a year with a $165,000 retention bonus in it annually, which, again, that's the world we live in. But you think about in 1998 when Tennessee won a national title, Philip Fulmer became a $1 million head coach, and that was a big deal. And now the defensive line coach is $1 million. It has $1 million salary in this day and age of college football.
And it was 27 years ago today. Tennessee won the national championship over Florida State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Seems like yesterday.
What do you remember?
What do I remember? I remember three things about that game. One, there was a moment.
What about the trip?
Well, the trip was great. Played golf twice and was in Tempe, Arizona for 2 weeks. So that was one of those deals where everybody was all in from a media standpoint, sent everybody. You did shows from a resort, you stayed there. And, nobody cared how much money you spent. Nothing was cheap on that trip. In terms of other things about that trip, I remember standing on the sideline vividly as the clock was counting down, and I just kind of looked around and went, holy crap, Tennessee's just won a national title in football. Like, they're the best team in football. Like, what? And then I found myself in the locker room at the end of the game, at the end of the post game, and John Ward was signing off the football broadcast for the last time, and like a big nerd, I'm standing right in the middle of some camera shot in the way. But as a young person, to get to be in all of that world was a truly fantastic experience. It was a great trip.
Better than the 2 weeks in Tempe on unlimited company budget?
No, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun those 2 weeks on unlimited budget.
You called me like every day to tell me what you were doing.
The beautiful,
and how much fun it was.
The beautiful thing about that deal is Sports Talk started at 3 Eastern, which was noon or noon Pacific. So we were all hungry. So like for 12 days, we had room service delivered for the show because it was lunchtime and it was time to be on the air. It's like, hey, let's get some lunch delivered. We spent a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money on that trip. But the great Bobby Denton, God rest his soul, never batted an eye. Never thought twice about that expense.
I need a break after that. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas.
An ice cold Coca-Cola is perfect, but a free Coca-Cola from Sonic with endless flavors and add-ins like cherry, jalapeno, or lime, perfect just got perfecter. Whether you're into cherry vanilla with sweet cream, strawberry jalapeno, or green apple and bourbon caramel, Sonic has the perfect Coca-Cola for you. Create a Coke your way, any size, any flavor. Free for a limited time, only in the Sonic app. Live free, eat Sonic. Limited time offer, see app for details.
If you want to live free, yeah.
On the court, a perfect assist sets up success. That's what the Ford F-150 truck can do for you. With outstanding towing and payload numbers, F-150 delivers the power, capability, and reliability you need to make every play. It's game on in the Ford F-150. This is Mike Keith. For great offers on the best-selling full-size truck in Tennessee, see your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Volunteers. Go Vols!
Based on S&P Global Mobility total U.S. new vehicle registrations for the standard full-size pickup segment, retail year-to-date April 2025.
From the practice court to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can easily turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. That's First Horizon. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Lady Vol basketball.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building futures.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun.
Tough news for Brent Hubb. WIBK Radio has called, and they
statute of limitations is up on that one.
They are worried about his January 1999 expense report.
I think the statute of limitations is up on that one.
I don't know.
Those receipts are long gone.
That's not what they're saying here. They've got the IRS on line too.
Shh, don't say that word.
865-657-1278, 865-657-1278 for your text questions. Roger in Lewisburg. We love Roger.
We do love Roger.
Lewisburg is a good place, too. Marshall County. Portal is like recruiting on steroids. Hard to keep up with. Do you know roughly where we stand in ability to spend on players versus other schools? I believe Kiffin was guaranteed a certain amount for NIL, obviously at LSU. Some coaches at different places have been guaranteed NIL budgets at new homes. Roger goes on to say, I would focus more on quality role players and a couple of big-time players instead of spending a lot on a few. Thoughts about what Roger's talking about budget-wise?
Well, I mean, first of all, nobody knows anybody's budget. And that's the other crazy thing. And every other sport that involves cash like this, you have an idea of how much people are spending. In the NFL, there's obviously a cap. You have the NBA, you've got caps and all of those things. There's zero transparency. So for example,
if Bill Booster called and said, I would like to give $20 million to go straight to football NIL, he could do that.
Theoretically, no, but that doesn't mean it can't happen to the third-party collective and it be given out there. And, you know, the thing with the whole regulation arm that was a part of the House settlement where everything was supposed to go through this and get approved and all these things.
It's a clearinghouse.
It's a clearinghouse that was going to reduce and was going to make these deals real and all that stuff. Just run right past that deal. I mean, there's no policing it. There's no, I mean, as someone who used to run a collective for a different school in this league told me back in July when all that went through, he said, let me tell you what's happened with the House settlement and rev share. I said, okay, fill me in, educate me. I need all the education I can get. He goes, they raised the floor on how much your roster is going to be. What used to cost you $12 to $15 million is now going to cost you $30 to $35 million. They did not slow down spending. They did not cap anything. All they've done is raise the floor on how much you're going to spend. There was all this talk in the offseason. Texas had a $40 million football roster. Was it really $40 million? I don't know.
Well, what about the guy who's giving all the money to Texas Tech?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's given to softball because his wife played softball there, and he's focusing in on football, and you know, he's their de facto owner at this point, and you know they're going out and getting players, you know, through NIL, not rev share. Rev share's a part of it, but then there's third party NIL on top of that, and he's the lead contributor for that, and that's, I mean, there's talk that the Kentucky basketball roster is $20 million. I don't know if that's right. I don't know, but that's the talk up there is that's a $20 million basketball roster.
What did they say about Ohio State a year ago? It was $40 million for the national championship.
But we don't know that.
Right.
We don't know that that's what – so what does that look like? Is that some front-loaded money before the House settlement that factors into some other money that's guaranteed, you know, over the next 6 months? I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows what the real roster expense is. It's like, you know, is a quarterback really going to get $6 million next year to play football and play college football?
Well, Carson Beck got $4.
Right.
Which we really think he got, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate based on what everybody says.
And he's in the quarterfinals. So now do you think that was worth it?
Yeah, I mean, he's done well. But I tell you what's really worth it for them. The Bang kid off the edge and the other kid off the edge for them on defense.
I understand.
And what they've got on defense.
But you said 2 weeks ago on the show that you weren't sure he was worth it.
Do I think Miami could be in the quarterfinals of the playoffs with a quarterback making $2 million? Yes.
But they spent $4 million and they made it to the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and they didn't lose money. He's not losing money on them. I mean, They didn't lose.
They're going to be okay.
They're going to be okay financially. They're going to be fine. Now, there's some other people out there that paid a large sum of money that didn't make it to the quarterfinals. They didn't make it to the playoffs.
Right.
Did they get their money's worth?
No, maybe not.
And
But you
that's
specific.
the world you say in.
But I'm talking about back. Because
Well, but what I'm telling you is you could have a quarter.
you can tell me whatever you want. I don't disagree with you. I mean, there were a lot of players in college football this year who got paid a good bit of money and didn't play a snap because of an injury or played just a few snaps. I mean, there were certainly you had that all over.
He's played every snap, but he's not the MVP of that football team.
Okay.
He's the most expensive player, but he's not their most important player. No, he's not their most
quarterback.
He's not their most important player.
It's quarterback.
I know he is. He's not. In my opinion, he's not their most important player.
I used to work with a man who is a wonderful person, and he said, if you don't have a quarterback, you just have a fancy rugby team.
He's a good player. I'm not saying he's not valuable.
You think he's a Sunday player?
Yeah, because he's got terrific arm talent. Now, does he make it long term? I don't know all that, but he's got all the skills.
But
he's
nobody's
always
talking
had all
about
the
him
skills.
as the number one pick.
No. Again, nobody views him as the most important player on that team.
Right?
If
they win the whole thing,
they'll take the defensive end in the NFL before they take him.
You know, the Bain kid, he's the one with the short arms, right? Well, but I mean, there's some technical people who would tell you from analytics that
he can bend.
I understand.
He can bend.
So is he Dwight Freeney?
That's what you're hoping, because he can bend like that. And Dwight Freeney was a freak. He was a freak of nature physically.
And he also only rushed the passer.
He did.
He rushed the passer on running plays.
There's a lot of players. There's a lot of guys in the NFL made a lot of money doing that too.
Not like he did. I mean, the guy on the other side, Mathis, played the run and the pass.
He did. Dwight just rushed the quarterback.
Like every play.
If he ran into the running back on the way, it was a good play.
It was an accident. He'd finished the year with 16 sacks and 22 total tackles. I mean, it was crazy.
And four of them were tackles for loss because he just grabbed the running back as he ran by.
Grabbed the wrong guy. No, but I mean, he was fantastic, and he was the Tasmanian Devil. He was literally like the Tasmanian Devil from the Bugs Bunny cartoons, who would spin.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Don't you think that because of the arm length, don't you think that comparison, somebody will try to make that comparison over the course of the next 3 months when you're talking about the mock drafts?
I think somebody just did on the Ball Network.
Don't you think some NFL people will? I guess, I mean, you're a former NFL person, right? Is that what we call you?
Used to be. All right, back to the questions. Roger had us a good one there, even though you don't like the Beck kid. I don't understand.
I understand. You really like him.
I don't really like him.
You're really impressed
you
with him.
You just came out and said 2 weeks ago that, you didn't think he was worth it. Now he's won 2 playoff games since you said that.
Well, only because they got in the playoff. What if they don't make the playoffs? Is he worth it? They're the last team
but
in.
They did make the playoffs.
I
mean, that's what happened.
But not because of him.
Stop saying – listen, you're not on VolQuest right now. Stop saying what if. You're on the Vol Network with me, brother.
When I said that,
I'm telling you,
when
right
I said
now,
2 weeks ago,
you can stop that. Stop saying what if, or he's going to do this if this doesn't happen. Well, it didn't happen. He won. They just beat Ohio State.
They did, and they were terrific. And that defense was outstanding, and he played well.
He did play.
He played well.
All right, so this is from Terry in Riverside. Do you expect Amari Evans to get more playing time based on his play against Arkansas? Yeah. How do you not?
Yeah, I'd play him.
You know what I love about him? He's not scared.
No, not at all. Not at all. He's not scared to shoot it. He's not scared to attack the rim. He's not scared to guard anybody, any size.
But
no.
he got, early in the ball game, he got 2 really good shot looks, and he took them, and he made them.
Yeah.
He went 7 of 7. He's only the 16th player in the last 20 years in college basketball to do that, which is crazy. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing about that. When somebody makes 3 or 4 in a row like that early, how often do they come down with a big heat check? And take some shot that's not a good shot.
Right.
He took 7 quality shots.
You're right.
Every one of them was a good shot. There was no, let me see how in fuego I am here and shoot this thing from 32 feet, or let's do a turn away 18-foot fall away jumper or whatever.
But the other thing, to your point, is he's not – what's the right word for it?
I don't know.
It's just like he's playing in a flow that is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you see the overpassing. A guy's got a 10-foot shot, and he's still looking to pass to the guy who's 2 feet away. It's like, take the shot. And this kid is taking the shot, not because he's ball hogging, not because he's showboating, but because it's quality shot. He's not afraid to take it, and he knocks it down.
Well, what's interesting with him, and we will see. I don't mean to be hypothetical, so don't yell at me
You
here.
can be hypothetical.
I mean, it's still a relatively small sample size for him in an Anchorage role, but the game seems to come to him very well. He does not, as you're saying, he plays well within the game. It's how the game is played, and he has a great feel. It seems like he has a great feel for the game, really on both ends of the court. I think it's going to be. I think how Rick Barnes manages post rotation over the next few games as they continue to get settled in here is going to be something worth noting too, in terms of who's best with whom. You know, who needs the most minutes? Does Akpara need 31 minutes a game? How do you change your rotation? Do you get more out of Estrella? Do you play Carey? Who plays with Evans? All of those things over the course, and it may change as guys are playing well and not playing well. But how Rick Barnes manages that post rotation as we dig deeper into conference play, I think will be a storyline for this basketball team.
What I saw out of Amari during the summer is he was on Nate Ament every day. You know, they had Estrella wasn't working because he was still coming back from surgery. Kate Phillips was battling the shoulder. And so every day, Dwayne Brown got stuck with Akpara and didn't back down. And every day, Amari Evans got stuck with Ament and did not back down. Drove him crazy. Went out of his way when he guarded him, when he was playing offense. He was so not scared. And I was so impressed with him just day in, day out. And the other thing, too, is the head coach was on him. And when the head coach is on a guy, and if you ever played any sports, male or female, doesn't matter who you are listening right now, you know that when the head coach is on somebody, that's because he expects something out of that play.
If he's not real interested in correcting you or working on anything, then you got a whole different level of things you're dealing with.
Yeah. Then you just go over and get a juice box and a snack, and, you know, that's been real.
Yeah.
Your trophy at the end of the season. But he's on him because Amari Evans is a dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's not scared, and he's got that about – I mean, he fouled out. What's the game he fouled out in 7 minutes? Was that Louisville? He fouled out of the game. And I mean, he had 7 points and like 5 rebounds and what – I mean, he's a little much at times. I'm not ready to put him in the, you know, in Springfield, Mass, in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that.
Sure.
But I think in your mix, he gives you something, kind of like Dwayne does. In your mix of who you are, he's doing the little things. That's what Rick Barnes is looking for right now. He's looking for more guys doing little things to make winning plays in certain situations. And he's got to get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we are with this league having the balance that it does.
Well, and the biggest maybe takeaway from Evans is there's not a moment seems too big for him. There's not a location.
Nope.
There's not a time in the game. Nothing seems to bother him. He's just playing ball and just plays the next play.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things about his mental makeup that Rick Barnes absolutely has to love.
Get a break. Back with more Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's and your text questions at 865-657-1278.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Since 1945, Co-op has been feeding the animals of Big Orange Country. With proven rations for livestock and pets alike, our family of Co-ops takes pride in being the go-to source that feeds your rural lifestyle. We offer livestock rations both by the ton and the bag, and essential pet food for your best friends, no matter their stage in life. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at fcma.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
The torchbearer flame. It's more than a symbol. It's the light of the volunteer spirit, guiding, enduring, eternal. And just like that flame, natural gas never fades. It's dependable, powerful, always fueling Tennessee, from our homes to our industries. 2 flames, 1 Tennessee. Natural gas, keeping the volunteer spirit burning bright.
This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
In 2026, enjoy and celebrate with the great refreshing beverages that support the University of Tennessee athletics. Light and crisp, truly hard seltzer, Twisted Tea, real brewed iced tea with a twist of lemon, Modelo, brewed for full-time Vol fans, Coors Light, choose chill, and Vol Lager from Yeehaw Brewing Company, distributed across the Volunteer State by Cherokee Distributing. Remember, celebrate responsibly, and 21 means 21. All right, Brent Hubbs, this from Dean and Farragut. With how the SEC did in bowl season, not great. Fans of other conferences are crying overrated. How would you defend the SEC and claim it's one of the best conferences?
They didn't play well in the postseason. And, you know, what's the Parcells line? Your record is what it is. Didn't play well.
You are what your record says.
And have not really played well in bowl play the last couple of years. So SEC fans going to have to wear that one for a year because everybody's going to have a field day with that. I think the quarterback play in this league, outside of a couple places, has just been kind of okay. It's been erratic, sort of up and down. In a lot of ways, it was a younger league. With some of the cycling of players that has happened. But, yeah, I mean, the SEC is going to take a beating over that record and over their postseason play with how Alabama got handled by Indiana. There's certainly going to be plenty of that talk, and you just better either put your earplugs in and ignore it or accept it because everybody's going to have a field day with the SEC.
James in Cleveland, will Tennessee go into the transfer portal to get a kicker or have the punter do the place kicking?
I think they'll go after a kicker. I think kickers are in a great spot in the transfer portal because that's a position where you got to have one. People like experience. They don't necessarily want to turn to a freshman kicker. So I think they're a very valuable commodity in the portal. Maybe not at the highest price, but more money than they were going to make at another place where they were at. So I would expect Tennessee to find a place kicker, an experienced place kicker in the transfer portal.
Max Gilbert reportedly on his way to Arkansas.
Correct.
If you believe what you read. Jay and Powell, are you surprised by James Pierce Jr.'s 10.5 sack rookie season?
I'm not. I mean, the question with James was always going to be the want to, and just the constant effort and relentless play. I think he went to a great situation in Atlanta. I think there's some veteran guys around him that have helped him, and I think that he's been outstanding. I don't think they're asking him to do too much in terms of kind of complicate it up for him. It's a lot of kind of that wide tackle 6 out there. He just gets out wide, gets both hands on the ground, and sprints off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they play that wide 9.
Or wide 9, excuse me. I mean, he just gets out there and goes. I think it's a good fit for him. I think there's a reason why they traded back into the first round to get him because they felt like he was the right fit for him there. And he's gotten better and better as the year has gone along. He's still He still needs to play the run better. But in that league, when you can get to the quarterback, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, especially when the fact is you're really not asking him to play the run that much in year one.
Correct.
You're looking for a guy who's throwing a fastball, and you'll teach him the deuce and you'll teach him the changeup. I mean, there'll be more he has to do, but if your fastball's special and his fastball being his pass rush, it's special.
Well, and they have a pass rusher on the other side who can get there as well. So guess what? You can't always chip. You can't always double to that side. You can't always roll away from him. Some of those things factor into play as well. I mean, if you've got somebody on the other side that can affect the quarterback, it's just like what's going on with the LA Rams. I don't want to take anything away from Byron Young. He's having a great year. Byron Young is helping Jared Verse as much as Jared Verse is helping Byron Young.
Absolutely.
Because what do? I mean, how do you max protect with 2 tight ends, and now all of a sudden you got, a 2 receiver route out there in that league? Hard to win that way. So I think when you can complement,
you can't slide the line.
Yeah, when you can complement one side with the other effectively, it makes your pass rush. I think that's what makes what Myles Garrett is doing and has done this year in Cleveland pretty remarkable, because he doesn't have a lot of help around him, and he's played in games where a lot of people are running the ball in the second half, and he's still getting to the quarterback.
23 sacks, an NFL record for Garrett. More on the way from the Vol Network.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Hum. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guest, insider analysis. You know what happened, find out why and how, and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Mike Keith. This is the Vol Radio Network, and we're glad to have you with us for Big Orange Rewind. Tennessee basketball losing on Saturday at Arkansas, 86-75. Lady Vols on Sunday moved to 2-0 in Southeastern Conference play by winning at Auburn 73-56. Portal is wide open, as is talk about Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. A 30-28 loss, last-second loss to an Illinois team that really played a fine game. You have to give them all the credit in the world. Tennessee, especially on defense, did not have their best overall night, and offensively never able to get it going very consistently in any area. They had sort of skips and starts and spurts, but they never really got the engine running the way they had during the course of the season. One highlight, however, Joakim Dotson's 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. You wonder if that sparks this young man into year 2 playing college football. Sometimes we've seen that. Guys have a moment in the bowl game where all of a sudden they say, hey, I belong, and they take off.
Yeah, you certainly hope so. And, a talented guy. Remember, he did not get here at midterm. He was a late arrival, got here in the summertime after running track in high school. So he was behind the curve, so to speak, playing catch-up. And he's a guy with talent, and we'll see how it develops. I think you're talking about Tennessee from a defensive standpoint, and this probably had an effect on the offensive rhythm a little bit as well. I mean, Illinois had 30 first downs. They ran 31 first down plays. Over half of their first down plays went for 5+ yards. They were in second and short, third and short all night long. No 3-and-outs. I mean, it was I think they had 1 3-and-out, but I mean, they crossed midfield. They kept the ball. You thought you get a little offensive rhythm.
Every one of their possessions except one was into Tennessee territory.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of, 5 of their drives were over 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So you get an offensive rhythm, you score, say, hey, get the ball back right here, and we're going, and all of a sudden you're setting for, 4.5 minutes of game time, which is 15 minutes of real time, and then you got to get rev back up, ready to go. The inability to get off the field on defense or get them into third and long to have a chance to get off the field on defense put a lot of pressure on you offensively to go out and felt like you had to score all the time. I thought the missed third down to Braylon Staley where they had to settle for the field goal that they missed, I thought that play was a huge play in the
Huge
game.
play.
A huge play in the game right there. Because if he catches that on 3rd and 11, it's first down inside the 10. You go score there, then you're continuing to apply pressure. And I thought they let Illinois off the hook there.
Especially after Illinois missing the 2 early 4th downs. It's a big momentum moment.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was a huge play in the game. Not being able to complete that, execute the pass and the catch there on that 3rd and 11 where Staley was open but had to climb the ladder to try to catch a ball. He would have told you he should have caught, but a ball that could have been thrown better from an accuracy standpoint as well. Big play.
All right, let's look at Ryan's question in Knoxville via the text line at 865-657-1278. He's a basketball question. It seems like what cost us the game at Arkansas was sloppy defense and ridiculously embarrassing free throw shooting. How do you fix that? How do you fix free throw shooting?
That's such a mental thing, man. I mean, you get in the gym and shoot, you keep getting in the gym, but
but that's not how the game works.
No,
I mean, yeah, I can walk up and shoot 100, but you don't get to shoot 100.
Nope.
You run and you run and you run, and then occasionally get to shoot 2. Or occasionally you get to shoot 1, and if you make that, you get the second one. I mean, I know practice.
Right.
I know routine.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's certain people who can do it in their sleep, just like they can repeat a golf swing over and over again. But when it's not going well, I mean, we've seen professional golfers who can't make a 5-foot putt because it's in their head.
I don't know that I've ever seen that many free throws kick off the back iron. It's like everything they shot was 15 and a half feet instead of 15 feet.
Yeah, I mean, so Ament shot the majority of his free throws right in front of where John Wilkerson and I had our broadcast position. Sure didn't look like he put it up badly. I mean, it looked like his release was the same.
But they were all long.
They were long. They were long.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't the only one.
No.
I mean, a bunch of long free. I mean, listen, you're not going to go win on the road in this league shooting less than 50% at the free throw line. It's not going to happen.
No.
And here's the thing.
And you may not win at home against this league.
Yeah, well, with the post players that Tennessee has, those guys have got to be able to shoot free throws because people are going to foul them. If you're going to play inside out, you're going to get to those guys are going to get to the free throw line. If Nate Ament's going to go for that 15-foot curl, where he hangs in the air, he's going to get to the free throw line. You got to make him.
It's one of the beautiful things about him is, I don't know, I'd have to look right now. I haven't had the stats in front of me, but the early part of the season, he's averaging 8 free throw attempts a game, and he's shooting 80%. I mean, so you're getting 6.5 basically free points a game, which was a problem for last year's team, is they just didn't get to the line enough.
Yeah, to your point, he is.
How many times has he shot free?
He is 68 of 92 at the free throw line.
So 92 in 14 games, that's nearly 7 a game.
Yeah, and to put that in contrast, the one closest to him is Gillespie at 43.
And he's shooting 90%.
88 now. I mean, 43 free throw attempts. Ament's got 92.
Right.
He's got 49 more free throws.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's getting there.
They got to make those.
I mean, in other situations, yesterday, what did he finish? 4 of 8 or something? Was he even that good?
He made his last 2, which made it look a little better.
I think he was 4 of 10 at one point.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
No. He
but
finished 5 of 11.
5 of 11. But in some of those cases earlier in the ballgame, I mean, you hit those shots. You go to the line. You miss 2 early. You make them, and the flow of the game is different. Especially in that place. By the way, Bud Walton Arena is awesome. I mean, it is atmosphere. Wow.
Well, and they're so hungry for. They're
Do
so
you
hungry
realize
for one.
Arkansas hasn't won an SEC championship since 2000.
It's crazy to think.
It's crazy. Yeah, for 40 Minutes of Hell and the 94 national champs and Scotty Thurman and Corliss Williamson and all the guys they had. They in Kentucky and then Florida. I mean, it was on. LSU for a period of time.
Well, I mean, when they came into the league, everybody was like, "Okay, we got Arkansas in football. That's good." Wait a minute, they're coming in basketball too.
Yeah,
like,
we thought they weren't coming in basketball.
Whoa, that changes everything. So
they had Todd Day.
Oh, yeah, they're
Oliver Miller.
They're super excited about where they are in basketball right now. I mean, they had a surprising Sweet 16 run a year ago after a bad start,
right?
And now they're just building off that. So, I mean, that's going to be a hard place to win all season long.
Well, that's the thing is if you get off to the 7-0 lead, if you make those free throws and you just stay ahead and you're paid and they're having to chase you a little bit. I mean, they are just such momentum killers, especially the way the students get into it and they picked out Ament.
Wow, he's going to get picked out everywhere.
I mean, but he got picked out. He got the whole thing every time he touched the ball. He got the business, and
there will be that message will be sent to some other student sections out there. Like, hey, you didn't play real well.
Do they send messages? Do they have?
Yeah, I think word will be sent around the league. You know, let's see if you can bother him mentally. Try to get in his head.
All right. So here's a text question at 865-657-1278. Kickoff return in the Music City Bowl. I assume talking about the 94-yard one from Dotson. Anything that you notice anything from watching the tape that you missed during the game?
Nah, I mean, that's just one of those deals where a lot of times bobbling that deal helps you. You don't ever want to bobble it, but the whole kickoff return is all about timing, and sometimes when you bobble it, it disrupts the coverage timing. You slow down or you redirect a little bit. And to Dotson's credit, he bobbled it, but he didn't completely panic, and he got it.
He didn't panic at all.
And then he ran straight to some daylight, and he got a great block on the corner.
He did.
Tennessee did a good job of not blocking anybody in the back because that return became a backyard play.
Right.
It wasn't, okay, you got your block lane. Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to block this guy to the sideline, and the return guy's coming to the sideline. I got to block him a different way here. Don't hold, don't block in the back. All of those things, turned into your favor. You had said this to me pregame. Illinois had a special teams snafu, and it basically won every game all year long.
They'd had problems.
And that was their snafu. And it gave Tennessee the lead, chance to win, and then defensively they couldn't do anything with it afterwards.
Well, it was such a big momentum moment, but everybody in the booth said the same thing.
Scored too fast.
Yeah.
I turned to Brad Lampley on the sideline, and I said, it's too fast. It's too fast. It's going to be hard for Tennessee defensively to hold on. You were thinking when they held them to the field goal and made it a 6-point game instead of a 10-point game, you thought, okay, drive the length of the field here, score this thing with about 90 seconds to go or whatever, and then maybe you get out of here with a 1-point win. But, boy, when they had that much time, and then once they got it to midfield as quick as they could, they were just playing the clock in their favor to get in field goal range.
Well, somebody asked me the question is on the run to set up what ended up being the final 3 plays, should Tennessee have let them score there at the 3rd and 1? And I don't think so, but for 2 reasons. Because if you stop them, then there's still going to be plenty of time left because you're going to get the timeout right there and they'll kick the field goal. You would have had plenty of time to drive down and get a field goal try in your own way. And then the other thing, too, is what if he misses the field goal? Because he had missed a 28-yarder. He'd missed a 37-yarder during the course of the year. I mean, guy's had a good career, but he's not exactly been just perfect in every situation. So I don't think you do that. I think you let them score after they convert the 3rd down, but very wisely, in my opinion, Brent Bielema chose not to try to score. He played for the field goal, knowing that he had a veteran kicker and he was going to be able to kick it in the middle of the field from short range. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those deals where, once they made the 1st down, they were in control of the game for the rest of the way. You had the interesting call there. I mean, you go back and look at the offsides on Tennessee.
Huge play.
Well, what was funny about that, I didn't have a great sight line because There were 1 million people on the sideline. That's the topic for a different day. But when I looked at Luke Altmaier, he was exasperated, beside himself with his reaction, that I thought was center messed up again, because his center had 3 snap infractions in the first half.
Right.
He threw his hands up. I mean, he almost flopped to the ground, that he was so mad, like, we just did this, and now it's going to be, make it a
3rd and 11.
3rd and 11. And that's why, when they had the discussion there, I thought, okay, they got him again, and they came back with the offsides on Tennessee. And, at that point, when it's 3rd and 1 versus 3rd and 6, do you think you can get them stopped? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Bielema told his running back at that point, don't score. If you get within the 10-yard line, inside the 10, fall down, take a knee. Let's because he didn't want to get the ball back to Tennessee. Let's just bleed the clock here and get this thing with a field goal and go to the house. So I don't know that Illinois would have allowed you to allow them to score.
Well, Illinois played a smart game. The mistakes they made were few and far between. Tennessee, 3 penalties were personal fouls that were all significant. It was 42 yards worth of yardage in the first half that was significant. Statistically, I think it's a rare game where the statistics might have told the story more than other things, because Illinois had control of the ball game. Tennessee held in there, and they made some plays when they had to, and they scored at different times. Obviously, the kickoff return being the best, but it's hard to, in any way, shape, or form, discredit what the Illini did.
No, you're right. And I think if you're Josh Heupel, as you get ready to move into your offseason in the first quarter of his 4th quarter offseason deal, I think one of the things you're talking about with this team and your program, and one of your mantras is about finishing. You got to finish better. You got to finish better in the second half. You got to finish better in the 4th quarter. In Power 4 games, they were outscored by 13 in the second half plus overtime. They were outscored in the first quarter, or in the 4th quarter in those games, 93-79. Over the last 5 years, you're 16-10 in November. You got to finish better. You got to finish games better. You got to finish drives better. You got to finish months better. You got to finish seasons better. I think the word finish has got to be very prominent in this program this offseason.
Need a break, and then we're back with more. The Ball Network's Big Orange Rewind is presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Ball Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
It's football time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
The week ahead. The final analysis on this week. Big Orange Rewind. Presented by Calhoun's.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're up next. Because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Brent Hubbs, we're taking text questions at 865-657-1278. On later tonight, because the Lady Vols played late this afternoon on the Plains in Auburn, better known as the loveliest village on the Plains. And, of course, Auburn, not good enough. Lady Vols win 73-56. But as we get these text questions, as we talk about a variety of sports, we know that the Twitter world, or the X, do they call it the X world?
I call it the Twitter world, but
okay,
I'm not hip
the
to
former
the
former Twitter world.
Anyway, the X that is formerly known as Twitter.
It is a buzz with transfer portal talk for college football. Is it crazier this year than in years? It is.
Yeah. I think it's crazier, and the reason I think it's crazier is, one, there's 4,000 players in the portal, but you've got the one portal window, the small portal window. There's no spring portal window to go into. You have a ton of high-profile coaching Power 4 schools that have made coaching changes that are looking to really build their roster. Some of those coaches are bringing players to their new school from their old school. I think South Florida's lost a half dozen players or so to Auburn. You got some guys who are leaving Penn State, going to Virginia Tech. You got a lot of guys leaving Iowa State, going to Penn State. So that's created some more movement because you have some pretty high-profile job changes at the Power 4 ranks that have resulted in those programs needing a lot of players. So there's a lot of movement.
And there's still players going into the portal tonight.
Yes, and there will be players going into the portal all week long. That will continue to go into the portal that are, going back and forth on a decision. Maybe they're negotiating and they don't get the money that they're looking for. Maybe their representative calls them and says, hey, I've got 3 schools that are interested in you. Are you interested in hopping the portal and seeing what's out there for you? Yeah, I think you'll certainly continue to see some guys go in the portal.
Or somebody who does not have a deal that they want with their current school see leverage by just going into the portal.
Yeah, and remember this too. You got playoff games coming up this weekend, so you got 2 teams that are going to get eliminated while the portal window's still open. There'll be some movement out of those 2 losing teams as well.
And did they only stay till the 16th, or did they get an extra week?
They get extra time, and of course, obviously, the 2 teams playing in the championship game will get their extra time as well.
It's crazy.
Somebody described it, earlier as old school January recruiting on steroids, and that's a great way to sum it up. Is what it is. It's fast and furious here. To the end, in the short period, in a short window here, and there's everybody's, you're trying to figure out strategies, right? First, last, all these types of things. How do you go about these things? It feels like the earlier you get them on campus, the better shot you have at getting somebody, because it's hard to see somebody taking all of their visits. They may say they're going to take 4, but I bet most people don't take every visit they had planned to take because they get pressure at a school that, hey, if you like it here, you better sign this paper right now.
Is there a limit on how many visits an athlete can take?
No, they can take as many as they want to, but most of them are not going to take as many because, again, when you're sitting there and you're getting ready to leave that visit, and that coach looks at you and says, hey, man, you sure? Because I can't promise you anything tomorrow. Don't wake up. If you wake up and call me in the morning, I might not have a spot for you.
Yeah, because this is not like, hey, if you don't commit here, high school cornerback. I'll take another cornerback, and we won't have a spot for you. This is literally, not only will I not have a spot for you position-wise, but your money's gone.
Yeah, you're walking away from money.
We've got to spend your money on somebody else if you walk away.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And it's not, even though it feels like it's unlimited, it's not unlimited.
We talking about the finances?
Yeah.
No, it's not. There's no world where it's unlimited. You're right. It feels that way, but it's not. There's just nobody's playing with just a war chest of an unlimited supply in their war chest.
And you don't want to get too silly if you're an athlete or you're their agent, because you could end up in a situation where the music stops and there's no chair.
Yes.
And you could end up back where you were for less money, or somewhere else that you don't necessarily want to be for less money. If you're getting a good offer, you're probably not going to be willing to play it, because to the point about money, and you have said this consistently, Brent, no one really knows what everybody has.
Correct.
And the agents don't know. Mm-mm. So
it's a big game of chicken.
It's a big game of chicken.
And so if you're a player and you're a prospect and you know where you want to go, there's a place you're most comfortable with. You better tell your agent, listen, get me the most you can get me at school A, because I want to go to school A.
Right.
If you need to use school B to leverage some more, that's fine. I'm not going to B. I'm going to A.
Right.
Give me as much as you can get me there, but that's where I'm going to school.
Jeff in Knoxville. The Vol defense was simply outplayed, out physically, out physically and out coached. When Tennessee ran the kickoff back, I knew the game was lost because they couldn't stop anything Illinois wanted to do. Just a simple fact. Too simple?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, you couldn't get off the field. You gave up too many yards on first down. They were in third and manageable all night long. I don't think anybody felt comfortable when Tennessee had the lead with 5.5 minutes to go that it was where you wanted to be in the game. You were looking for trying to get one stop. I think they had punted once in the game.
They had punted once.
They had 2 fourth-down stops, but they were in your own territory.
They
were in Tennessee territory. This defense did not play well this year. That's why there's a new defensive staff at Tennessee.
Right.
I mean, there's
and a new strength coach.
Yeah, there's a reason to fix those things. There's a reason Josh Heupel's making the move. We talked about finishing early. Strength coach is involved in finishing, and Josh Heupel's making a move there, not retaining Kurt Schmidt, who had been with him
for 8 years.
Yeah, been with him all the way back to his days at Central Florida as a head coach. So not retaining him, so you're going to go find a new strength coach. And then obviously they elected not to retain Tim Banks, not to retain Chop Harbin, not to retain Willie Martinez, and they have brought on a new defensive staff to fix the defensive problems and the issues that were on defense this year. And that was a defense this year. Yes, they were marred by injury and some critical areas, and the secondary was not what you thought it was going to be. But it's a defense that struggled to communicate most of the year, gave up too many big plays, did not tackle well. Did not play the run well enough. It was a defense that was not very good, really all season long. Didn't get off the field on third down. I mean, the numbers from last year to this year are just so vastly different defensively.
Well, what did Knowles have at Penn State, the number 34 defense in the country?
I think something like that in year one.
Yeah, had the number 34 defense in the country. If Tennessee had the number 34 defense in the country this year.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're a playoff team. Now, they may not have advanced. I don't know, but they made the playoffs.
Right.
They would have been a playoff.
Because what did they end up, 94 or something like that? Not good.
No, not good at all.
What are time frame on the strength coach? That for those who don't know, I'll come back to that in just a second.
Okay.
Students are not in school right now.
Correct.
I know. I can. Do you want to tell this or me? You're like my son. You're starting it like my son does me.
I apologize.
He corrects me, and
I wasn't correcting you. I was acknowledging
you. Were acknowledging. Thank you. I made myself laugh. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I walked right into that. I deserved every bit of that one.
Students are not in school right now, but there is a mini term that's about to start, and the mini term runs through the 16th. Student body is back on the 20th, the day after the Martin Luther King Monday holiday. And so guys are not required to be back until then, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Well played by you. So at this point, it feels like Josh Heupel has a little bit of time to do more due diligence on a strength coach than maybe he could on the defensive staff. Do you think that's fair?
I don't know. If I would use. He has a longer window to assemble or to figure out what he wants to do with his strength coach. They had a month to do due diligence on their defensive staff decision last month, but he does not have to have a strength coach in place this week because you're right. Students are not going to be here until the weekend before the 20th when they will roll back in, and you will start your off-season program that week and kind of get going. So I would anticipate Josh Heupel would like to have a strength coach in place, and we'll have a strength coach in place by that weekend in which the football players return to campus.
Is that a hard world to attract somebody?
It is a yes for a couple of reasons. Not hard, but it's got a unique set of challenges now for a couple of reasons, in my opinion. One, the money that is being paid in that world now is vastly different. So, used to if you were Tennessee, Alabama, if you were quote a true blue blood, you could pick up the phone and you could call anybody at a mid-major, you could call anybody else, even within the Southeastern Conference. And you could say, hey, we're going to need this. Oh, okay, I got a chance to go. They've got the finest resources. They got the finest facilities. They have this beautiful weight room.
And you could say, I'm the strength coach at Tennessee or I'm the strength coach at Alabama, which in that world was like being the king of England.
Exactly. And so I think it's harder because those guys are it's not as easy to land somebody from there. I also think it's harder to go get a guy from a smaller school and not have some sort of transitional period to understanding the strength and conditioning that it's got to be at this level.
So you need, like if you're at a Power 4 school.
I feel like you need a Power 4 guy.
Yeah, maybe a group of 5 guy who's got background.
Who's a longtime assistant at a Power 4 school or something
sense.
like that.
But I was also asking you that because you know that world so well. Athletes now are trained quite differently, even down to the high school level. You know, used to your weightlifting coach at a high school was also the D-line coach or the wrestling coach, or there was now not only is it more specialized in the high schools, but these athletes have their own trainers outside of school and then carry them into college, and obviously it continues into the pros.
Well, for the longest time, there was the big new catch thing was Olympic style training.
Right.
You were gonna weight lift with Olympics. So it wasn't about having the biggest biceps, right? It was about your core.
Right.
And it was about how you were lifting that way. Now there's so much more scientific. It's so much more scientific with the catapult system where everybody's got a GPS on every day on the practice field, where you're evaluating how far somebody runs, how fast somebody runs, how much energy they exerted. All of those things factor in there that it's become it's truly human performance. And it's how do you maximize someone's human performance? How do you get them ready for a season? And then how do you keep them the way you need to, monitoring things more than you used to. And what's happened, and I don't mean this as a negative, but for the longest time, guys would say, I'm tired, and enough people would tell them you weren't tired, and so you decided you weren't tired. But now there's so much scientific stuff that you can look at that you say, well, I am tired. Look at the numbers, and so it's just
load management.
Yeah, I mean, it's become different because it's become so advanced in terms of what all you can monitor and read, when before it was like, hey, man, drink another Gatorade.
Right.
Have a Pedialyte. We'll see you in a couple hours. I mean, we don't do two-a-days now for a reason because it's load management. It's not about contact. It's load management on that. It's what do you do in the heat? I mean, remember when it was such a huge deal that they put up tents and started taking a heat break during practice?
Right.
Wait a minute, they just blew the horn 3 times for a heat break? What is that? Because 2 years earlier, it was like, hey, he fell out. Roll him over. Let's get somebody else in here to play that spot.
Yeah, I mean, people literally died.
So it's very
not here, but at other places, people literally died, and it's a wonder more people did.
So I think you're looking for someone who has a different level of expertise now, instead of just being maybe the brute, that's just the brute hard edge guy, but someone who's really in touch with all that stuff and understands all of those things. And those guys are commanding a lot of money in college sports right now. I mean, a lot of money.
Need a break? We're back with more. We look forward to visiting with you. Your text questions at 865-657-1278. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Every team knows great basketball starts with the fundamentals. At Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, they do too. Trusted coverage, local agents who know you by name, and service that's there when you need it most. For auto, home, and life, they're here to protect what makes Tennessee life so special. Because when you have a strong foundation, you can focus on the road ahead. Solid fundamentals, trusted coverage, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
Tennessee fans, the Ball Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange. With a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium, the Ball Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Ball Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utballshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Ball Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
Hey, this is Rick Barnes. The great John Wooden said, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That's why I put such an emphasis on preparation. I get to the gym early, before everyone else, so when they walk through the doors, I'm ready. Food City does the same thing. Long before the doors open, they're stocking produce, cutting certified Angus beef, and prepping ready-made meals. So when you walk into a Food City or the Food City Center, we're going to be prepared.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Glad to have you with us, reminding you Tennessee basketball Tuesday night, late night with the Vols at Food City Center. 9 o'clock tip-off, which could be pushed probably to 9:10, I think. That's Eastern time.
Your thoughts on a 9:10 start?
That's fine.
The head coach probably not elated with it.
No, he's not crazy.
He's not a big fan of the nine. They have several 9 o'clock starts this year.
Several after 8 o'clock or later. Yes. Oh well.
Yeah, go line up and play.
It's fine by me.
You're a night owl.
Not anymore, but if there's a game, I'm happy to be there. It's going to be fun. Tennessee and Texas. Food City Center. 9 o'clock plus 9 o'clock-ish. Tip-off. We'll be on the air on the Ball Radio Network at 8:30 Eastern Time with Inside Tennessee Basketball. And the Vols and the Longhorns.
Which has been a good game in their matchups.
They have quite a history.
Well, and the games have been quite close, quite competitive.
There's a history. Of course, Rick Barnes may be familiar with him. He's in his 11th year as Tennessee's head coach. Before that, he was Texas's head coach. You might not have known that. Well, you probably did.
I didn't.
You were aware of this?
I did not want to interject there because I didn't want to offend you, I did last segment. No, I'm just
there's
laying
somebody driving along going, surely Mike really knew that, right? And surely Mike knew I knew that.
I'm just waiting on you to start pointing to me to tell me when I'm supposed to talk.
Wow. You get the old Bill Anderson? Yeah, that was For those who don't know, for those who weren't with us in those days, for those who were born in this century or late in the last one, when John and Bill were together and it was time for Bill to talk, John pointed at him. There was no speaking out. There was
no interjection.
There was no interjecting. There was no. Bill was, and you know what Bill thought of that? He could have cared less. He thot it was fine.
It's fine. Is that what you want me to do? Okay, let's
he
go
could have
with
gone
that.
a whole game without talking. He wouldn't have cared.
Oh. What a treasure!
What a
treasure!
Bill Anderson
was
one of the greatest human beings I've ever been around in my entire life.
Unbelievable.
And the other thing about him too, the only guy in a Vol Network booth who was not afraid of John Ward. He was not afraid of John
100%.
Ward.
The rest of us are like, don't
terrified.
Don't make him mad. Don't make him mad.
This is a man who played at the University of Tennessee for Bowden Wyatt while General Nealon was the athletic director, and then went on to play for Vince Lombardi. So, John Ward, great guy, great broadcaster.
Not worried about you.
Not worried. He tried to block Doug Atkins in a game. He did try to, he had quite a career in the NFL. He won a Super Bowl, Bill Anderson did. So
funny guy.
Oh gosh,
he was funny. Holy jeez.
If we could have done the off-air show where the star was Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So on the broadcast, why are we into this?
I
Because
don't know.
it's just I'm going to do it anyway because I love Bill Anderson. So
It started with me talking about pointing, you pointing to me, and we went from there.
Well,
Sorry.
listen.
It's my fault.
Listen, for all of you who've been a Vol fan for over a minute, Bill Anderson, and people used to say, because he didn't talk a whole lot, there were people who said, well, does he know that much? He knew a ton.
Oh.
He knew football like you wouldn't believe.
And loved to talk. He taught me a lot of football as a young kid.
My favorite part.
Just sit and listen.
My favorite part of my last 5 years is when I got moved to the stadium. I got moved from the school board to the stadium, and then I would get to talk to Bill at halftime. And I would ask Bill a football question, and he would just unfurl with this knowledge, and you'd be like, whoa. And you would ask him questions in pregame, or you'd ask him questions at different points, and I mean, he saw it like you didn't, but he didn't talk a lot on the broadcast because that wasn't the design.
Right.
Because he would start off a lot of times with, there again, John, but I'm telling you, one of the funniest men, and he could make John Ward laugh, which was unreal. Because most of us really couldn't.
Well, and he tried, which we're all like, don't try to do that.
He not only tried, but he would pick on him.
Oh, yeah.
He would needle. Nobody needled John Ward. Most of us were scared to even talk to John Ward. And Bill Anderson would give him the business, remember?
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. It was fun.
Oh.
What a great human being.
Well, and what a great life for us that we got to see that. I mean, riding with Ward and Anderson from Jacksonville to Gainesville to play the one Gator Bowl that was played in Gainesville. The end of Peyton Manning's freshman year in 1994. It's one of the greatest rides I've ever taken in my entire life. And I didn't speak the whole time. I was scared to talk.
Those are fun. I had one of those going from, I guess it was Chicago City to South Bend,
okay,
where Tennessee stayed, and I'm sitting on the back of a bus going to the stadium, or coming from the stadium at walkthrough or whatever, and I'm sitting back there, and it's Haywood Harris and it's Gus Manning, and it was them storytelling for an hour and 15 minutes, and it felt like it was 5. I'm like, can we just circle? Can we make another lap, please?
Well, and
because the stories and the knowledge, of course, they're needling each other, just like all that, those guys.
Gus
did.
hired Haywood.
I know, and I mean, it was, you learn so much without even trying to learn. Just listening, just sitting there listening to the stories. You're like, holy jeez, this is. And Anderson and Ward, all those the same way. It was fantastic.
Well, and the thing about Haywood and Gus, where they did the show for 152 years on WIVK. The Locker Room. And it was one of the shows you listened to when you were driving into town. And there was Leonard's Losers and, all the different things that were on WIBK that you looked forward to every week when you got within range of Knoxville, if you weren't from Knoxville. And the locker room, the show they did, they generally had the SID on from the other school, which I thought was fascinating when I was 12. As I got older, less fascinating. But what was really fascinating was the two of them off the air. The best.
Oh, it's absolutely the best. And again, you said it perfectly earlier, how fortunate it was for us at a young age, trying to get into the business, trying to figure out to get to be a part of that behind the curtain, to get behind the wall, to see it and to hear it, to feel it, to live it. It's just a blessing that I'm very glad I had. I know a lot of people are jealous of it. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't trade any of it for anything, because it was, for a young guy getting started, it was unbelievable.
Well, I just know what Gus would have said if he had been here when I got this job. He would have said one word: why? Had they told him Mike Keith is the new voice of the Vols, he would have gone, why? And he would have been right. We need to get a break. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun, continues.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank. Big bank solutions, small bank spirit. The official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage. Quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Across the state of Tennessee, you will find towns big and small, all with that big orange passion, just like you see at First Horizon, serving communities big and small, offering big bank products with small bank passion. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. That's First Horizon, proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit Turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, continues.
Roger in Lewisburg doesn't mind our old-timey stories. Thank you, Roger. You're the one person. God bless you. God bless you.
While others were...
other people would... I try to stay away from the stories. I really do. But some of them were so great. That's what Roger says. Thanks for the memories. I grew up in the 60s and 70s and beyond. Lived and died with the Vol Network, John and Bill. You guys being a part of it is why you're so great. Thank God you are where you are right now. Is that what he said? Thank you, Roger. The stories, I mean, this is a place that's got history in so many different ways, which is one of the exciting things about being around the Tennessee program is, there's history in basketball, there's history in baseball, there's history with the Lady Vols, there's history in sports information, there's history with the athletic department, there's obviously history in football, there's history with track. We can go back through the history of the strength and conditioning program with John Stuckey and Bruno Paletto and the people who've, all of the people, Johnny Long and all of the people who've been around it so long. I mean, the history throughout the course of this campus is just unreal. And what's fun about it is the excitement that's here now with these students, not just the athletes, but the students, and everything that's going on. And yet you've got that past in your back pocket. Every once in a while, stories are just going to come out.
Yeah, and I think it's important for some people, some of the younger people, to hear some of those stories from time to time, because I think you want to make sure it doesn't get lost. And
well, nobody under 100's listening to this, are they?
No, maybe not. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that probably were hearing some of those names and maybe didn't know who some of them were. Well, the Haywood Harrison, the Gus Mannings. For those of us old enough, it's like, well, they were institutions.
Well, and here's and you know this because you've obviously been with me virtually every day all fall. I use the term Big Orange a lot because that's what I grew up with. Ray Mears started it. Welcome to Big Orange Country. I think it is I use that term a lot. And there were some people at the start of football season who were very surprised by this. And as I spoke to them and discussed this, it was obvious they didn't know what that was. They were younger.
Right.
But I didn't realize that had not been used a great deal in a long time. It's just always been part of my vernacular as a Tennessee person. But there are people who literally did not know that that's us. that was started by Ray Mears, and it was he wore the orange coat, and he did all the things with basketball, and
it was Vol Nation before Vol Nation, Big Orange Country.
Right.
I mean,
Vol Nation is new.
Yes, and that's the new kind of Big Orange Country for some who, like, what do you mean Big Orange? Well, that's what they used to say. Well, then it became, that sort of went away, and people started talking about Vol Nation, and that became kind of the new vernacular that people talked about.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you grew up listening and you grew up being around, I mean, Big Orange Country was a thing.
Well, and John Ward said Big Orange a lot, and I mean, it was just part of. I didn't think anything about it. It was one of the more surprising things because it's not like I lived in Alaska. I was just just a couple 100 miles away in the same state, which is also part of Big Orange Country. And that was part of Ray Mears' whole thing with Big Orange Country is he wanted it to encapsulate the whole state. The claim this is Big Orange Country. And it's funny because the university has used it in their marketing some, but I didn't realize that it had not been largely discussed.
Been a minute or two.
It'd been a minute, obviously. Apparently, I aged myself a lot by making that. But, I was surprised.
Keeps you on your toes.
It did keep me on my toes. Yeah, I was like, no, whoa. For all the dumb stuff I do, that's...
Well, we all do those things.
Yeah, but for all the, and I have children, so I'm constantly reminded of all the dumb stuff I do. That wasn't the one I expected to be called on, though.
But you were, and you got reminded of it.
I think a lot of people have learned.
Yeah.
Or been reminded. Mm-hmm. I hope.
And you will continue to use it.
I will, yeah.
As you should.
I I think it's who we are. We're the Big Orange. I mean, that's and the Ray Mears part of it, and if you know what he meant in that lore, and I hope certainly he never gets lost in terms of the stories and the level of importance.
Yeah. Nor should he.
Because we're playing that basketball game Tuesday night here against Texas at 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's going to be wild, and it's going to be fun on the Ball Network. And that all emanated from him years and years ago. Thanks, Fred Hubbs.
Thank you.
Good stuff tonight. Appreciate you being with us for this edition of Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.